If you're in a situation where you're looking for a professional sounding speakerphone with killer microphones, Jabra's new Speak2 series are really speaking to us.
Goedendag, we're DHRME.
Do
Hire
real
mechanical
engineers. Now you're going to experience some of the things the speakers here can do in this video, but let's start with why you would even bother with these products.
I think this thing is in the way.
Really?
Might be.
I didn't see it.
No? These speakerphones are usually standard issue for office situations.
And they're a big upgrade from a laptop speaker and microphone because this is how a laptop microphone sounds like. As opposed to the Jabra Speak2 microphone, which sounds like this.
Just take them to your meeting room and dial into your video call and everyone around can join in. They also look sleek and professional, very different from a party speaker with LGBT, right? No, RGB lights and the like.
If you don't like headphones or earbuds, then this might be something for you. And finally, these are actually capable enough to use as a portable speaker for listening to music. Just check out the difference for yourself.
But which of these should you get? There are 3 models under the Speak2 branding. The cheapest Speak2 40, which we don't have here, has no Bluetooth connection and works wired only, otherwise identical to the Speak55. Then there's the Speak55, which does have Bluetooth, and there's the 75, the biggest number, and it's top of the line. I mean, what do you expect? It's the biggest number.
Connected.
It agrees.
It agrees. All right.
That is the flagship.
Tell us about connectivity.
Well, speaking of connectivity, both of these come with a cable, which actually houses a USB Type-C and a normal USB-A connector in the same cable, which is very handy because a lot of new laptops come with Type-C. And that Type-C you can actually plug into your phone too. That works.
Pretty cool.
But if you use that Type-C, it also supports fast charging. And also having a cable really means that it's meant for sharing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the office and some colleagues going into a meeting and they're like, hey, can I use the speaker? Here you go. They just have to plug it in and they're ready to go. No fumbling and, fidgeting around with Bluetooth connections.
Yeah, speaking of Bluetooth, if you're not into connecting cables, both the 55 and the 75 support Bluetooth. And it works pretty well. It's got Microsoft Swift Pair and Google Fast Pair. So the moment you put it into pairing mode, our Windows laptop detected it immediately and it was set up in a matter of seconds. The Bluetooth also supports multi-point, which is pretty cool. It can stay connected to 2 devices at once. And this isn't counting the device that's actually connected by wire. The speakerphones can remember up to 8 devices though, so that's also pretty cool.
Okay. But there are a couple of Bluetooth issues we had. Number one, unfortunately, you can't pull the Bluetooth connection from a previously paired device. So you have to either disconnect a connected device or put the Jabra into pairing mode by clicking on the Bluetooth button as a long press.
And when we disconnected our phone from the Jabra by Bluetooth, but it was connected still to my laptop, it was really weird. It would randomly reconnect after a couple of hours again. So it's not very reliable if you want to stay disconnected from Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You really have to go pressing the button many times or unpair from your phone.
Yeah. And another gripe that we had was when you actually want to use the Jabra wired only and you plug it in, it'll automatically turn on Bluetooth as well. So there are many occasions where I just want to use it with my work laptop in a work setting, but then it'll connect to my phone, which I don't want, and then I have to manually turn it off on the device. So.
Yeah. And talking about connectivity, you get this Dongle, which is optional. You get it on the 75 and you get this USB-A or a USB Type-C type dongle. And the 75, this is a unified communications dongle, which costs an additional $20. But it's very useful in the case where a Bluetooth connection is not reliable or your laptop the Bluetooth is blocked by some stupid sysadmin who thinks they know a lot about security. Sorry, got carried away there. But it improves your wireless connection essentially.
Yeah. And apart from that, both the Jabras are integrated with Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Google Meet. A certified integration, which basically means it integrates well. If there is an ongoing call, the Teams LED will pulse purple. You can join a call, but you do have to remember that when you press the answer button on the Jabra, it'll only open up the join window and you still have to click on join manually. Hanging up works, volume works, muting is integrated with Teams and Zoom, etc. So it's not muting on the Jabra itself, but it's synced with the application, which is nice.
Yeah.
But that didn't work with the mobile app though. So mobile app Teams with this speaker, muting it didn't mute in the application, it just muted on the device. So that's something to note.
Yeah, so the Teams connectivity is very Windows or like, desktop focused.
Desktop focused indeed.
And talking about mute, that mute is a nice LED ring and it transforms to red when you mute it. Not very colorblind friendly because if you can't see the difference red and green, they just look lit up. Yeah. So it would be nice if Jabra could add that.
All right, well, this device is really meant for multiple people in like an office setting, like we said, in a small space or a medium space.
Yeah.
Because in theory, on the 75 model, you get something what they call a mic quality indicator, which is, again, the same ring, but depending on how clearly the person who's speaking is being heard. So if that person is far away, is mumbling or is soft-spoken, then it'll turn amber, and then it'll turn green if it's okay.
Yeah.
But
it's a good feature and we really like it in theory, but we tried this, right? It did not work at all. We even added background noise, on a TV and stuff like that with a cafe, with people talking, other noise. We saw it amber just once. It went amber just once in our about 10 minutes of testing it. Yeah. And I even went to the backyard, just to make sure, and it didn't work. So it was mainly green all the time. Yeah. So it sounds like a bit of an experimental feature, if we're being honest. Yeah. So don't buy it for that feature specifically, but it's nice that it's there, but it didn't really work for us.
And what's good to remember is usually with Bluetooth devices, you expect an app. Don't expect that on the Speak2 55 model. At least not on Android and iOS. On PC and macOS, there is one. It's called the Jabra Direct app, and it allows you to do a couple of basic things like update the firmware. You can see the list of paired devices. You can also change what kind of audio notification you get. If you don't want the Jabra lady telling you you're paired to a device, you can change it to a tone instead. Yeah. So that's what you get. You also get a couple of settings for a soft phone if you use the device for that.
Yeah, and in the Direct app, there's nothing else, right? There's no ability to change EQ or customize the buttons. But the 75, on the other hand, does work with an Android and Windows app, which is the My Sound Plus app, which also works with Jabra's headphones. It's exactly the same app.
You mean on Android and iOS?
Android and iOS, yes. So this app is the same one you get for the headphones, earbuds from Jabra. You don't need to download a special app. So that's nice. And you can customize a few more things. That mic quality indicator, you can turn it off if you think it's useless. There's the voice language you can change, and there's a special button function, which is, there's one button on the 75, which you can actually use to configure, one of 4 options to play, pause, voice assistant, a few things like that, speed dial of a person you really like or don't like. But other than that, there's also, more importantly, the EQ, and we'll come to the EQ in the sound section.
Yes. And these are more than just a speaker and a microphone, right? There's also some buttons on it. Maybe you want to tell the viewers about those.
Why can't you tell them about them? But okay, fine.
The script says you're going to do it.
Oh, that's what the script says. That's what you're pressing here all the time. Now I get it. Okay, the buttons include mute, volume, battery to check your battery status. And there is an answer and hang up and a Bluetooth button. And that's really interesting that there's no track control on this because this is clearly meant for phone calls, but we'll come to the sound.
And it seems like Jabra has really gone in with the whole fabric design element because the speaker cover, so literally the thing that's covering the speaker or the grill or whatever you want to call it, is made from fabric, which is meant for better sound quality, as opposed to plastic on their previous models. They've also gone all fabric on their case, which is made from felt, which actually feels kind of nice.
It felt nice.
Yeah. And, you obviously put the Jabra speakerphone in the case, but there's nothing really else that's, loose in your case like you would expect cables or something like that, because the cable just wraps around nicely around the speakerphone. And that's it. For the 75 though,
you do get a dongle, but there's a nice little pocket in the case for the dongle. So you can also tuck it away neatly in there. And the thing is, these are office speakers, so we were really surprised that they are waterproof, or water resistant and dust resistant, but they're really water resistant and very dust resistant. So they're IP64 rated. I'm not sure where you guys actually take work calls, but we are far from beaches and pools. I think we need to find a better job.
I think so. I think Jabra seems to know something we don't.
Yeah. Maybe if you guys subscribe or become patrons,
we'll start working from the beaches.
Another big difference between these two is the battery life. This guy, this 55, is 12 hours of battery life, right? Rated at 12 hours. So this one is significantly more. The 75 is rated at 32 hours of battery life. And I think both are pretty sufficient, good. Right?
I mean, 12 hours, I don't know about you guys, but I don't work 12 hours in a day. Live in Europe at the end of the day, so plenty. because usually I'm using it plugged in anyway and it's charging at the same time. Good to know, they both do take around 2.5 hours to charge to full.
Both of them, is it? Yeah. Okay, I just thought the 50.
Speaking of the microphones, right, because that's a huge part of why you're buying these. We thought they were pretty similar on the 55 and the 75. But, you know, here's a sample at different distances from the microphone so you can hear how they sound like.
And please, listen to these samples. Kevin worked really hard. He had to squat down really low because we had a weird camera angle.
I broke a sweat for this, guys.
Yeah, listen to the samples.
Make it worth my while.
Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2.
So the speakerphones can get very loud. Plenty loud for a call at least. For music, maybe you want them a bit louder, but for calls, we never had a problem. We've done a Teams call near a busy coffee corner. It was no problem. Also for the person on the other end of the call, they could hear us quite well. And I mean, that's what you expect from this, right? Like 4 beamforming microphones or whatever. Yeah. It's basically meant for calls, so they do it very well.
Yeah, if they didn't do that well, there's nothing here to sell anymore.
Yes.
And although you can play music on both of these, like we said, the 55 you can do, you know, volume control, and that's it. You can't play pause, you can't do track control, none of that. Of course, on the 75 you get that smart button. If you were to customize it so, you can use it for play pause. But that's something to remember as well.
So, why would you buy the 55? Because I don't like it so much. Why do you like it?
I like it, so I'll keep this.
Yeah.
The reason I like it is very simple. So the mics are great. There's really no difference between the two. They sound really good for the other people on the call. They have pretty much the same controls. Yes, I'm missing the smart button. Okay, don't plan to use it for music anyway, so the slightly subpar sound quality and the lack of play pause doesn't affect me too much. The battery life, yes, it's a little bit less. It's at 12 hours, but for a typical workday and the fact that it's always plugged in, I don't notice the battery life at all. And the connectivity is, again, on par and great. It has USB-A, USB-C, it has Bluetooth multi-point, stays connected to 2 devices at the same time. And finally, at the price of 187 euros currently, I think it's good value compared to a lot of earbuds and headphones out there, and especially compared to the 200 euros more that will cost you if you go for the 75. But let's hear it. Why are you keeping the 75?
Man, if you're buying something with a speaker, the speaker has to sound good, right? Like, I mean, this sounds fine, okay? This is like an upgrade from a laptop speaker. The 55 is not bad. Let's be very clear about that. But there's absolutely no bass. So you really hear that sometimes in voices as well. I've heard it on Teams calls where voices sound really rich on this. For music, I would never use the 55. I mean, you know, it's like a laptop speaker. Might as well use my laptop. But the 75, I could use for music. It was like, it had, I mean, yeah. There are mic samples. You guys heard it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm heading to the bus, then I'm running like, yeah. I ain't looking at the clock, still falling like, bruh.
It's got more bass. And that battery life, additional battery life, I think is always handy. Especially if you have a Dingle dongle. Because the Dingle dongle is not charging your speakerphone. And why I like the dongle is because you can have your laptop far away from you and you can have the speakerphone far away from you and you can still be audible. So I think it's a useful feature, not in all cases, but in some cases I think definitely adds something. And the most important thing for that additional 200 euros is you can pause your music on this.
Seriously?
Yes.
200 euros?
Yes, that's what it is.
For play pause.
Play pause. Incredible.
You've been speaking to us.
And we've been DHRME. Namaste.
Namaste. Hey guys, just a quick announcement before you click away. So this video had a different kind of vibe. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, then we would definitely recommend the new channel that we just started called DHRME Live. Link will be up here somewhere on screen. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be releasing content there very soon. Thanks, guys.